Good evening, everyone. August 2nd. And we are going to tonight talk about, it's another Jesus short. Try and keep it under 5 minutes. We're going to talk about what did Jesus mean in the parable of Luke 13. And you may have heard me talk about this before, but not on a short. Then Yehoshua began telling this parable. A man had a fig tree he had planted in his vineyard. And he came looking for the fruit on it, and he found none. So he said to the gardener, "Indeed, for 3 years I've come searching for fruit on this fig tree and found none. Remove it. Why does it use up the ground?" But answering, the gardener said to him, now remember, we've got the owner of the vineyard, or the orchard, and then we've got the gardener. And he says, "Leave it alone for this year also until I dig around it and apply fertilizer. And if it bears fruit, good. But if not, then I will cut it down, dig up the roots and tear it up." Matthew 21 is a comparison. Now, early in the morning, as he was returning to the city, he became hungry. Now, this he being Jesus. Seeing a lone fig tree by the road, he came up to it and found nothing on it except only leaves. He said to it, "May no fruit ever come from you again." And the fig tree shriveled up at once and died. Now, we talked about, remember that there was an orchard owner and then there was a gardener. Well, the orchard owner is God the Father. The gardener would be Jesus. The fig tree is Jerusalem. It is in Hebrew, Te'anah. And it's interesting that Te'anah, and you know how much I love the numeric values and Jesus being the keeper of the numbers, secrets of God. In Daniel chapter 8, verse 14. But in this particular case, Te'anah, meaning fruit tree, is numerically 456. And anything that comes with 456 would be linked to it spiritually. So if you look at what else is numerically 456, Melech HaMashiach Bo, King Messiah come. Where is he coming? The fig tree, Jerusalem. He cannot come unless, remember last week we talked about we are grafted into the Jewish people? He cannot come unless the Jews possess Jerusalem. They do now. And he is coming. Melech HaMashiach Bo. Now, numerically, you can do a lot of things, and I am telling you, the Hebrew language is magical. That's why it is the language of God. So I know I took extra time, but in this, Jesus goes to this fig tree and he curses it. Why? Because it's at the end of his ministry. He's got 1 week left before he's crucified. He's about to walk into Jerusalem for the second to last time. He walks into it, in and out of Jerusalem twice that week. He walks in, he walks over to this fig tree. Now, the interesting thing about fig trees, it is compared in Hebrew to the Torah because there are hidden secrets in there always that you can find every time you open it up. A fig tree grows a certain amount of figs, but they don't all ripen at the same time. All throughout the season, more ripen. So it is just like the Torah. Every time you come by, there's more fruit to be gathered. So it's a beautiful picture of that. Brings tears to my eyes. But Jesus says, yeah, this fig tree is not bearing any fruit, which is Jerusalem. Now it is time for me to tear it down, cut up the roots, cut and throw it, cast it aside. And he tells the disciples that. And less than 1 generation later, in 70 AD, it happens. So anyway, just wanted to point that out because last week we did talk about how important Israel is. Remember, whether you're watching it now on streetlightgr.com, Facebook, or YouTube at Streetlight Bible Study 4006, please pass it on. We'd love to have more people come to know Jesus and to know the truth of who Jesus is. A lot of people are not getting good teaching in their churches, unfortunately. So please pass it on. Have a good night.